my foot.
It's always Halloween.
No matter what hour your clock strikes, here it's always Halloween. And I'm always your haunted host, Luce Tomlin Brenner. In the last few episodes, we explored the ancient Celtic roots of Halloween, the Roman impact on Halloween, and the Halloween-like festivals that Romans celebrated. Today we're going to travel beyond Europe and explore some different festivals honoring the dead, which predate Halloween, but are still imbued with that spooky spirit we love. In doing so, I think you'll be tickled to find how our favorite holiday in America connects us to cultures across time and space. Let's get started with Japan's Festival for the Dead, Obon, also called Bon Matsuri, Uraban, or the Festival of Lanterns. It's one of the most popular annual festivals in Japan, observed July 13th through 15th, and regionally, it can sometimes be celebrated August 13th through 15th. It is, along with the New Year Festival, one of the two main occasions during the year when the dead are believed to return to their birthplaces. Beliefs about the bonds between the living and the dead are ancient, but most scholars agree that the celebration is based on the Buddhist scripture. The story goes, one of Buddha's disciples found his mother dwelling in the realm of hungry ghosts, where spirits suffer insatiable hunger and thirst in the afterlife. When he went to her with a bowl of rice, it turned to flame. The Buddha instructed him to set out food and drink for his deceased parents, and to present the monks with offerings on the 15th day of the 7th moon. This expression of gratitude and respect, he said, would free them from their infernal torments. Many people are allowed 3 days off to return to their birthplace and celebrate with their family and friends. I love that Japanese culture makes time for rest and reflection like this. While I absolutely adore our Halloween festivities, I think we would all benefit from setting aside a few days away to spend caring for the memories of those we've lost. But who has the time? Hashtag grind culture. Hashtag never stop hustling.
You want a hot body? You want a Bugatti? You want a Maserati? You better work.
Traditionally, the 3-day festivities kick off with the lighting of fires and lanterns, which guide the spirits home. This ritual is called mukabi. Local celebrations can vary from region to region. Many families erect 2 shoryodana. These are altars of fruit, incense, and flowers. One of the altars is for their own ancestors, and a second altar is for any spirit who has not attained peace. Other common rituals include dancing, dressing up as folklore characters, taiko drumming, cleaning and decorating ancestral tombs, and prayer services at temples. Now, let's trot over to China and learn about another amazing holiday cousin to Halloween. The 7th month of the Chinese lunar calendar is called the Ghost Month, and it's considered the scariest month of the year, during which ghosts and spirits, including those of deceased ancestors, come out from the lower realms and visit the living. The 15th day of the 7th month is specifically known as Ghost Day, and this is when the Hungry Ghost Festival is held. On this day, it's believed the realm of the living is open to the spirit realm, and ghosts return to visit their living relatives and attack their enemies. According to the CBC, the origin of the Hungry Ghost Festival comes from an ancient Chinese story in which a monk named Mulian asked the Buddha to help his mother in the afterlife. Mulian's mother was very hungry, but she couldn't eat because she was a ghost. The Buddha instructs Mulian to make offerings of food and new robes to the monks instead. Thankful for the gift, The monks pray for Mulian's mother, and she is then reborn as a human, ending her hunger. This story inspired this festival during which ritualistic food offerings are given to hungry ghosts who may not have had safe passage to the afterlife and are suffering. Also during this festival, incense is burned along with jas paper, which is known as ghost money. I don't know about you, but my bank account is filled with ghost money. But in all seriousness, ghost money is also called spirit money, and these are sheets of paper or sculpted paper crafts that are commonly burned during Chinese ancestral worship festivities. Jas paper items are believed to have value in the afterlife. Throughout Ghost Month, families also pay tribute to other unknown wandering ghosts so that these lost souls won't intrude on their lives and bring misfortune. At the end of the month, miniature paper boats and lanterns are released on the water to direct ancestral spirits and lost ghosts safely back to the afterlife. Another festival dedicated to worshiping ancestors is called Igungian and takes place in southwestern Nigeria between November and April every year. Its purpose is to give assurance to the dead that they are remembered and still have a place in the land of the living. It's also believed that it's the ancestors' responsibility to make sure the living uphold the ethical standards of past generations. Igungian is a Yoruba word that refers to masqueraders that dance in the streets during the festival. It's believed that those in masquerade are chosen by the gods. These gods give them special powers of communicating with the dead and pleasing their ancestors. Because of this divine intervention, only those chosen can dress in the elaborate and colorful Igungian masks and costumes. The Yorubas are an ethnic group from Western Africa who mainly live in Nigeria, Benin, Togo, and parts of Ghana. Yoruba is also a religion practiced by the Yoruba people in southwestern Nigeria. This religion shares commonalities with voodoo and influenced Santeria, as well as several other religions that developed within Central and South America as a result of the Atlantic slave trade. According to Omenka Online, the Igungian are tasked specifically with spiritually cleansing the community and demonstrating through miming the amoral behaviors that have occurred in the community since their last visit. By doing this, it's said that they expose the strengths and weaknesses of their communities, thereby encouraging positive behavior from their descendants. When the play acting is over, the Igungian give messages, warnings, and blessings to those who have assembled to watch them. Now let's travel east across northern Africa and learn a little bit about the Weg Festival in Egypt. Also known as the Paper Boat Festival, this August celebration is held to memorialize Osiris, the Egyptian lord of the underworld and judge of the dead. It's the oldest festival in Egypt, going back to the ancient dynastic era, which began in 2950 BCE. Now, just to jog your memory, the Celts didn't start to thrive until 1200 BCE, and Samhain didn't start for at least another 1,000 years after that. So not only is the Weg Festival possibly the oldest festival for the dead on the African continent, but it predates our earliest Halloween festivals by 3,000 years. How incredible is that? The modern Wag festivals also celebrates the souls of the recently departed as a means of ushering them off with good fortune at the beginning of their journey in the afterlife, led by Osiris. People make paper boats to sail on the Nile, and they hold feasts with lots of wine because Osiris is not just the god of the underworld, he's also the god of wine. He's not like a regular god, he's a cool god.
Hey, you guys, happy hour is from 4 to 6.
The Wag Festival is explored by the characters in Ray Bradbury's 1972 novel, The Halloween Tree. This is an underrated and charming classic I highly recommend for young and mature readers alike who might be looking for something off the beaten path this season. Now, Hindus have their own ritual for the dead called Pitri Paksha. It's based on the Hindu lunar calendar and lasts for 15 days, which typically falls in September. It's said that the dissatisfied souls of the deceased return to the earth to see their family members during this time. Prayers are offered and rituals are performed to help the souls calm and get relief from the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. Food is offered to crows who are believed to be the representatives of the dead. By accepting food provided by people, the crow suggests that the ancestors are pleased. However, if the crow refuses to have the food offered, then it indicates that the dead are not happy. Of course, we can't discuss festivals of the dead without mentioning Mexico's Day of the Dead, which is celebrated annually from October 31st to November 2nd. But you'll have to wait a few more weeks to hear more about that, because right now I must wrap up today's episode and celebrate Osiris with a little glass of wine. Do you have a Halloween query or memory that you want to share with the podcast? Call into the All Hallows Hotline at 802-532-3323. That's 802-532-DEAD. Or you can write me an EEEEKmail at itsalwayshalloweenpodcast@gmail.com. If you do, you may be featured on our weekly Small Frights Friday episodes. I'd love to hear what you want to learn about on future episodes. I also really want to hear from anyone who celebrates a festival of the dead aside from Halloween. By no means was this episode exhaustive. It was a mere taste. There are almost 200 countries in the world, not to mention all the specific regions and ethnic groups, so I know there are dozens upon dozens of more celebrations I haven't gotten to cover yet. All that to say, I look forward to hearing from you about anything I didn't mention, or aspects I missed about the few that we did discuss today. Feel free to enlighten me. I love to learn. In the grand scheme of It's Always Halloween, I plan on devoting entire episodes to deep dives into specific cultural celebrations, so stick around. There's so much more to come. It's Always Halloween is researched, written, and performed by me, Luce Tomlin-Brenner. The editing, theme music, and sound design is by Pete Burns. Thanks, Pete. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at LTBcomedy and Pete at Mittenberries. If you're on Apple Podcasts, please subscribe and write us a little review so other like-minded ghouls can find us. Thanks so much for listening to It's Always Halloween, and come back next time, unless you're too scared.